Please note that this content is for adults only. Viewer discretion advised. If you haven't yet, hit the subscribe, like, and share. Hello everyone and welcome back to another live stream with me, Grizzly. This is Grizzly True Crime and we continue to deep dive the Madeline Soto case as we work through all these police interviews which are audio only at this stage. Let's hope one day we get some videos as well. So we are continuing to listen to that. Today we're going to be listening to what Madeline Soto's teachers had to say as well as some neighbors. Like, it sounds like a couple that also lived in the complex there. So I'm very excited to listen to this with you and learn more information. And if you think that I'm not going to be covering the Stephan Sterns police interviews, I'm just saving that snark for last, you know what I mean? Like, he's the biggest liar ever, I think. And even just listening to some of, his police interviews when I received it, I was like, oh my word, we'll do that later. Okay, let's first just get some facts out. Because with him, we're not going to get many facts. We can, in fact, debunk a lot of what he says based on us studying all the other stuff first, right? Nora, thank you so much. Welcome to all my moderators, patrons, members, subscribers, everyone that's new here as well. There's lots of new subscribers, so welcome to you. All you got to do is subscribe. It's free, and then you're a Grizzly. That's what we call ourselves. Yeah, the Grizzlies, right? Again, thank you, Laura. Please like and share, everyone, so that people know we are live right now, and we are listening to this. And let's get going with that. Alyssa says, hi, Grizzly. So happy I got alive. Keep on providing your awesome commentary. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And thank you also to everyone who's emailed me such useful information, like things that you're spotting in some of the photos. Somebody emailed me and circled, because they're a nurse, right? A huge bottle of Miralax in Jen's bedroom. So I'm like, oh my word, I didn't spot that before. So thank you so much for helping me study this case. That's what we're doing. We're studying this case together. MPOTS, thank you very much. All right. I also wanted to say thank you to True Crime with Strategic Eyes for one of the best shout outs I think I've ever heard. That was amazing. I was in his chat earlier. It's his latest episode. It's called Stephan Sterns' Jealousy Killed Madeline Soto. If you haven't checked it out yet, go and check it out. I will link it in the description box afterwards as well. But my word, it was around like the 26-minute mark or so. Oh my word. He gave me such a great shout out. It was very, very sweet. So thank you so much. Okay, so let me make this bigger. Also, before I start, I just want to say thanks to Grizzly Cat for finding more pictures of Madeline Soto. So I'm going to be showing you some of them as an overlay while we listen to this audio today. So let me just make sure the sound is nice and boosted for you. All right. Okay, so here we go.
2024, the time is 13:02 hours. It's going to be reference to Orange County case number 24-011313. I'm Detective Bradshaw with the Orange County Sheriff's Office. Ma'am, could you state your first and last name for me, please?
Madison Brady.
Could you spell Madison for me?
Madison.
Okay, and what's a good phone number for you? And my understanding is we're here today to kind of talk about the situation that's involved. I have a couple of specific questions that I have to ask you. But can you tell me a little bit about, what you know, your relationship with her is, just any information that you could give me on that?
Okay, so before we now listen to this from, I said Madison B, teacher, right? She just said her name. Just if you're feeling like who's talking now, just there's some clues up here. I made a banner up here for you as well, okay, in case you wonder. And I try to put their titles there, like teacher. Most of these interviews today are Maddie's teachers. Ellie Cat, thank you so much for the sticker. You said you asked why Stephan's parents talked about their baby boy in March interview. It sounded like they were in the denial phase of grief. They know he's terrible, but don't want to believe it. They essentially have lost their son. Yes, sure. And just to be clear, I wasn't asking like why, like I don't know. I'm more like I don't like it. The way that they were nurturing him and like, Shame, do you need some more candy? Can we send you some more books and all that stuff? Yesterday in the interview, we heard of Chris Sterns. We heard Deborah in the background saying, that mother. effer. She called him that mother effer. She was so angry. She was so upset and so angry. So yeah, I'm sure it's mixed feelings, you know. It must be really weird to have a son charged with things like that, murder and CSAM and all sorts of things, right? Oh my goodness. But either way, I just don't think it should be enabled. I would write that person right off. If he was my son, I'd never talk to him again. Okay, but then again, if somebody's like that, I'd just burn that bridge and never look back. Stephanie, welcome. And Jane Zales, you said, thanks for all this information, G. I really like your comments. Love this community. Thank you so much. Okay, so now let's listen. I've got my pens. I've got lots of pens. You guys know I love pens. Got my pens. I've got my notebook. I need to get some more notebooks soon. It's getting full. And I'm going to take some notes as we go. And I'll leave some comments in the chat as well. And then I'll stop to make commentary where I would need to.
So I met her at the beginning of this school year in an ESE meeting. She was being transferred over from 504. That she was under that in 6th grade with our 6th grade counselor, Miss Merritt.
Okay.
Transferring over at the beginning of this year to the ESE services with our ESE staffing specialist, Miss McGregor. So I was sitting in on that meeting. In that meeting, they approved that switch and she got switched over. I heard a little bit about her background in terms of having ADHD, a lot of problems with focus that affects her schoolwork and grades. And then some mental health concerns in terms of a lot of anxiety and panic attacks. So from there, I have been doing ongoing check-ins with her throughout the school year thus far. I think we've met about, I was looking at it earlier, 6 times.
Okay, since the beginning of the school year?
Correct.
Got it, okay.
When she has come to me, it's often been those feelings of panic. She's come to me like in the middle of class or during lunchtime just feeling really panicked, kind of heavy breathing, feeling really overwhelmed. And when we've had our conversations about, well, what's going on, what's making you feel this way, I've gotten responses saying, well, it's my anxiety, sometimes I don't know, I'm just really overstimulated with all the noise in the cafeteria. But I've also gotten responses with, well, things at home with her, and when I pressed about that, it seemed to be things along the lines of, well, she gets upset that I'm forgetful or that I don't clean my room the way she wants me to. And we talked about what that does to affect her, and she says, yelling, that makes me get overstimulated and then I can't respond to her in a way that she wants me to. So we discussed strategies for kind of calming herself down and talking. She's calm about how that makes her feel, and she reported to me that she did have that conversation for our past check-in since December. So December, January, February, we had a check-in every single month, and each of those check-ins she had said to me, things are better at home and things are a little bit better at school, and I haven't had her come to me in months with any sort of panic or anxiety. I did have her mention on occasion her home situation at that time was...
There's a lot of background noise in this audio file. Did my best with it, but it is what it is.
When I asked her about that, the only thing she really said was, I don't really like him. He's kind of weird. So I said, okay, well, what does that mean? How is he weird? Why don't you like him? And her responses were nothing of that level of concern. It was always, well, he eats all of our food and he hangs out in the living room and it makes me uncomfortable because I don't really like him, so I don't want him to be there. But nothing ever to...
You'll see? Maddie telling her teacher, he's weird. He just hangs around and eats our food and I don't like him. That's very different to obviously the story that Jen and Stephan tell. You know, that Maddie was just so close. I wonder, you know, I really wonder. So, let's keep going.
The level of concern that we're seeing now. And the last thing I heard about him was he's moving out. I'm happy about that. And that's helping me feel better with home.
When was that conversation that he was moving out?
That was about a couple of months ago, so I would say around December.
Okay, so sometime in December, you guys had a meeting and she said... Okay, got it. Did she ever mention anything to you about having depression or like suicidal thoughts or any suicidal attempts or anything like that?
She never mentioned anything along those lines. It was always more so focused on the anxiety and the panic.
Okay.
And a lot of times she wasn't able to verbally articulate what exactly was making that panic arise beyond feeling overstimulated or just not knowing.
Okay. So she never mentioned to you about wanting to hurt herself, wanting to die?
I think all these teachers' interviews were done around the 29th of Feb, which would have been right after Stephan was arrested, which is why they say nothing like that. Because they would have then known what Stephan Sterns was arrested for, right? Welcome. Moni's welcome to all the new members. If you haven't checked out the members-only playlist yet, please do. Also, did you hear the teacher said, and Maddie was really excited that he had moved out? I'm sure. And then the panic that she had on Saturday, I know he also experienced it, but I think she was like, oh no, are you coming over tomorrow? Like what? Also in his police interviews, he's still saying that he went there on Saturday. So that timeline is still very interesting. Because his parents said that he was home on Saturday, but did he go on Saturday night or Sunday? According to his parents, he went on Sunday. But according to him, he was already there on Saturday. So I guess I'd believe him the least. Anyway, but with Maddie panicking like that, shame, man, and experiencing panic attacks at school and everything and thinking, oh my word, it's so nice. Like without him, he's moved out. It must have been terrible to think that he was coming over for her birthday because based on what he did to her on special occasions like Thanksgiving and Christmas, perhaps, because those are the other times he was there. It's in the last, few months. It's just terrible. Lori Lowe, thank you so much. She said, for all your hard work on this for us, G, you are the best. Oh, thank you so much. Okay.
I wanting to, nothing like that.
She never mentioned wanting to harm herself or wanting to die. She made comments in the interactions where she was feeling panicky, saying things more so like, this hurts and I don't like this or want to deal with this, but it was never anything like I want to hurt myself or end my life or anything along those lines.
Gotcha. Okay. And she didn't disclose that she was taking medication for anything other than just the anxiety or for the ADHD and the anxiety.
I didn't talk to her specifically about medication, and I can't recall what was said. It would be in the ESE meeting notes if it was discussed that she was or wasn't on medication.
And she has an IEP, you said, correct? So she switched from the 504 to the IEP.
Yes.
Gotcha. Cool. Okay. Did she mention anything about just didn't like him because he ate their food and he was in their living room? Like, did she say anything else to you? Disclose anything to you?
She did not. She didn't talk about asked her about those comments of him being weird and uncomfortable. The only things she gave me were, well, I don't know, he's just a little weird. He eats our food and he's always hanging out in the living room and I don't really want to be around him and nothing. And the way she said it was so like joking in terms like, I don't know, he's weird type situation, like laughing about it. It never made me feel like there was a safety concern.
Okay, so
Shame, man. Erica says, this sounds like a counselor, not a teacher. It could be the counselor. They redact a lot, obviously, after the person says their name and they're saying their phone number and all that. So sometimes they chop out, I didn't hear this lady say, I'm the counselor, because they ask, how did you know? Then they want to know Madeline. They redact that. And when they ask questions, so that's just saying, yes, I knew her fairly well and I saw her like this and this. And I gather, okay, all these people from the school, except the last clip we'll play, which is neighbors, it sounds like. So if it was... It has to be redacted, I understand that, but sometimes it's difficult to get the exact date, the exact time, that would be great, and then also the exact title. But just here, most of them say teacher of some kind. So this could be the counselor, you might be right, Erica. Okay, so, shame, man, aren't these pictures just adorable? Poor Maddie.
She didn't disclose anything about him ever touching her inappropriately or them having any sort of a sexual relationship or them having any sort of an inappropriate relationship whatsoever. None of that was ever disclosed or
anything along
brought up to you. Okay. Let me check and see. There's, like I said, there's some other questions that I have to ask, and I just want to make sure that I touched on them. Okay, did you ever see, I know we talked about like the anxiety and the panic attacks, and you said she never, mentioned anything about being depressed or being suicidal or anything. Did you ever see her exhibit any of those behaviors, like that she is depressed or that she, like, did you notice anything about her that was out of the ordinary other than the things we've already talked about?
It seemed more so to be very up and down.
Okay.
Like she would have those heightened moments of the panic and the crying and just kind of, she would go from that to just like shutting down after the panic. And then if you talked her through it a little bit, like there's one specific instance in my statement that she could not say what was making her feel that way. And so I asked her to draw it out, and she was able to do that.
Okay.
And then she kind of put on there just like a lot of scribbles, which to her, she said that meant just like the chaos of all the feelings and thoughts that she's having that make her feel overwhelmed. And then words she wrote. So things along the lines of like, why, or crying and things like that. And after that happened, I reached out that she wasn't at school for a couple days. So I was like, concerned of, okay, we went from this to now being out, what is happening? I reached out, and at that point he's been struggling lately, a lot of tears and feelings, but that she was seeing a weekly therapist.
Okay.
So she supposedly had someone that she was seeing weekly about all of this.
Okay.
And
I wonder if she was really seeing a weekly therapist, you know? Because a part of me, just based on everything I've heard, I feel like Stephan armchair diagnosed quite a lot. And I would hope that he's not the weekly therapist. You know what I mean? Like if Jen would just say, oh no, she's seeing a weekly therapist. Like, did she really though? Shame, man. I really, this case is so sad. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much all for being here and studying this case with me. There's a lot to learn, you know, as we go through it. Also, there's a lot of people saying in the chat, based on my comment earlier, even Jeffrey Dahmer's father stood by him. Now, I did write a book on Jeffrey Dahmer. I read Lionel Dahmer's book, and he was trying to understand his son. Like, oh, why did this happen? What can I learn from it? Did I contribute to this at all? Yeah, that I understand. But what bothers me, and why I say such a, you know, I guess extreme statement of just like, cut him off. I would cut someone like Stephan Sterns off, in my opinion, me. I'm not saying his parents should do it, but I'm just like, oh my word, he's been like so overcoddled his whole life. I don't know if he can be studied by his parents or like helped at this point, especially if they're spoiling him with books and root beer candy. But of course, it's their son. He'll always be their son. To each their own. I'm just like, sometimes some people make me so angry. I'd never want to talk to them again. And Stephan Sterns, I would never want, me personally, I don't want to talk to Stephan Sterns ever again. I've never spoken to him, but horrible creature this. It makes me so angry to think that he like, the way that's like so slimy and sneaky, I was like worming his way into that home and trying to get access to this little girl who he would have started grooming from, I think he met Jen when Maddie was like 6 years old. Oh my word. So, it's just horrible. It's so bad. And I mean, this case, I don't know, are you guys in the rabbit hole with me? I think so, right? The more I go over the photos, the more I go over these files, the more I'm just like, it just gets worse and worse the more we think about it, right? So anyway, thank you so much for being here with me as we study this. And hopefully through this case, many people will be educated on how groomers and predators operate, and many children will be protected. If there is a red flag, see it. If there's a gut feel, say something, right? Or question, even just ask the child questions, right? Like, are you okay? Something happening? Sometimes they won't tell, but like, it's so horrible what happened to Maddie. Okay, so let's keep going. It's very informative, right? Very nice to hear these audio interviews, because so far we've read what they've said in documents. So we've heard before what the counselor said, what the teacher said, but it's nice to hear it now with our own ears, right?
Also stated at that point she hadn't been at school because she was sick and she was going to take her to the doctor that day. And she mentioned seeing the drawing that from our conversation, and I, encouraged her to share that with mom, so she did. And she said that she appreciated that and that helped her in that day, which at the end of that conversation with her, she was able to calm down and feel better. But at that point, that's when it got a little concerning, to the point that I reached out to mom just to say, hey, what's going on? And found out, okay, she at least has supposedly weekly therapy sessions outside of school.
And
I wonder if they're talking about I haven't listened to every single word of these interviews today, because I had to go out today. And normally I listen to the whole thing before we meet here. I wasn't able to listen to every single word here. Most of it I caught, but I'm here to listen to it with you today. That's why I'm taking notes and things, because we're learning together. But I wonder if the drawings they refer to the drawings in Maddie's book. There's one where I'm just going to describe it. I'm not going to show her drawings because she was an abuse victim, a victim of SA, and the drawings are her way of trying to process the trauma, you know? I don't want to show that. But there's one drawing where it's like a little girl, okay, and there's a son that she drew and a little girl, and she's like running and looking happy. And then she drew an eye, and it says, "I'm keeping my eye on you." And then afterwards, she draws like a crying girl and says, "Summertime sadness." So there was that drawing. And then there were some other ones that were sexually explicit drawings, you know? And so I wonder which drawing they're talking about there. But that would be a huge red flag, like big time red flag, those drawings, right? If the teacher or counselor did see it.
Most of these things you said that would trigger these panic attacks or these anxiety-inducing issues were because of issues that were going on with them, correct? Like where she would argue with.
Seemed to be a combination of bringing that from home, the arguments and the feeling like she's taking on those feelings at home of, I don't feel safe in terms of not necessarily physically safe, but emotionally safe, that at me and causing me to feel overstimulated. And then I come to school and it's loud and there's lots of kids and I'm overstimulated again.
But it wasn't. It's usually.
And things she said along the lines of, my room's not clean, or you forget to do this, or you don't do that. So to me, that's like things about it was never,
especially anything. At that age, with the teenage age, you know. Okay, so how about her?
Just a pause. I actually want to show you something. Wait, I'm trying to think which file it's in. Maybe we'll do it when we look through all the photos. There's a photo of Maddie's room. Let me see if I can find it for you quickly, because it would be interesting to show right now. So wait, we are at 10 minutes. Okay, hold on. We're going to go there quickly, because I want to show you the list that's in a room of what she has to do, because Maddie told her counselor, teachers, friends that her mom would always be shouting at her to clean her room, right? Okay, wait, evidence photos, apartment, Maddie's room. Could be in here. Yeah, it's here. Okay, I found it for you. So here it is. And if I zoomed in on this today, here, this right here. Let's see if there's another picture. Wait, there. Okay. So if we zoom in, there's a whole list of chores, like hang up your wet towels. When we go through the photos, I'll zoom in more, right? And then at the bottom it says, okay, Pookie. But this is different writing. So I just wonder if Stephan wrote this, okay, Pookie, at the bottom. But it's all her chores of how to keep your room clean and like what you need to do. And Maddie had told her, as I say, teachers and friends, that that's what her mother would moan about a lot. But I'm just going to say that doesn't look to me like her mother's room is all that neat either. I'm not saying two wrongs make a right. I'm just like, damn, if that's what they were fighting about so much, that's pretty sad, right?
Her grades or her behavior, have you noticed any shift in her grades or the behavior that she would normally exhibit?
Grades have seemed stable. We've been working on, in our check-ins, kind of coming up with strategies because of her ADHD and in terms of getting her missing work in to bring up the grades. And she seemed to be making improvements with that since around December, when she started reporting things are better at home, at school. Okay. Our last check-in was February 6th, I believe. And at that point, she was very happy that day. I called her down just to do our check-in, and she said things are going really well. She feels really happy. Things are better at school. And that was the last time we had a check-in.
And that was because of the strategies that you had kind of given her to help her?
Yes, she had been getting some of that work in. Her teachers are working with her because she has the IEP, and she said that she used the strategies at home to talk about the when we're calm, let's talk about what it's like when we're not calm and how that makes us feel. Gotcha. And she said she was able to successfully do that.
Good. That's excellent. Okay.
Look at these pictures that Grizzly Cat found. Aren't they so cute? Oh, no shame. Ashley said lists and reminders are a good tool for those with ADHD. I'm aware. And you said, I have similar lists on my phone to help me daily. I love lists. I like making like a little box and then like literally ticking it. So I understand that. I'm just like, shame, man. I just feel sorry for Maddie. Just, you know, she sounded like, she said to her friends that her mom would just be so mean to her and fight with all the time. And, you know, maybe it's just normal mom stuff. I don't know. I'm just looking at the whole context of the case, of course. It just sounds like Jen wasn't that nice to her at all, ever. I don't hear much of that, right? But, I mean, who knows? Okay, so Elle said, this teacher sounds like a special ed case manager, IEP manager. Oh, thank you so much. All right, so let's go here.
I know we talked a lot about, like, you know, kind of just briefly mentioned with her. And I know you've only known her for a short period of time, but you haven't noticed a dramatic shift from when you first met her to now that's negative. Like, have you...
Correct. When this first came up, my first thoughts are, oh, things have been better. So
okay.
I'm like...
So it's surprising to you, it sounds like.
How did
we get to this point?
Yes.
Okay, so there's nothing that would stand out to you that would make you think that something was on, like that things were declining at home. You actually thought things were actually getting better at home based on what she was telling you.
From the information that I had from her,
okay,
without at that point having spoken to friends or anything I had, to me the perception was things are getting better.
And what was the last date that you met with her?
February 6th.
Okay. And that was the date that she was like, hey, things are getting better. We're using these strategies at home and all of that. Got it. Okay.
We were supposed to have our next session to follow up this week.
Okay.
And obviously I haven't been able to do that.
Okay. Is there anything else you can think of that I have not asked you that you want to relate to me while I have you in here?
To me, the only things that are sticking are the comments of he is weird and I don't like him, and I wish I had more information to say where that came from, but when I asked that, all I got was he eats our food, he hangs out in the common areas.
Okay. All right, do you swear and affirm everything you told me is true to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So the time is now 13:15 hours. Hi.
Okay, now we've got another teacher called Annelise that we're going to listen to now. So that, oh, shame, man. So that comment now, you know, in hindsight, really sticks out to that teacher or counselor. It's like, he's weird. Just hangs around and eats our food. Oh, no. It's like slothing around, right? And Maddie didn't like it, and she said, I don't like him. And then the counselor noted that, you know, from February, she also on February 6th, and she said, Maddie said things were getting so much better. And you see, Stephan had apparently not. There's different stories, still like trying to get that clear, of exactly when Stephan was last there, besides February 25th, right? Because his parents in one interview said Thanksgiving, Christmas, and this was the third time. But in other interviews, they said that he'd been there like 3 times that year. The neighbors also say they didn't really see him that year, maybe once or twice. So it's like all over the place. But still, things were getting better because he wasn't like permanently there. He had moved out in December. So, shame, man. Things were getting better. She was doing better at school and all of that. Oh my goodness. Okay, so let's listen to what this teacher has to say.
I'm Detective Payne. Nice to meet you. We'll talk to this portable here. I'll just need to get a little bit of information from you once we get in here. Got a few questions, and then you should be able to get back to class, okay?
Okay.
All right. Let's get a chair at least. It is February 29th, 2024, about 1:12 p.m.
I am.
Okay. Just bear with me. I'm going to take some notes while we talk. Do you? How do you think? How well do you think?
I think I know her pretty well.
Okay.
I mean, we've had some interactions. There's a lot of kids in.
Okay.
you know, I have seen some interactions with her.
Okay. Who does she hang out with the most in class?
She hangs out with a student. Her name is.
Okay.
And
Zimmy from the bus stop saying, are the interruptions on my end? No, it's when they redact names or phone numbers, then there's silent portions there. So, and I didn't want to edit that all out because then it would sound really weird because they would go from one word to the next so quickly that it wouldn't make sense. So I just left in the redactions. If it was a little bit too long, then I reduced the redaction, the silent portion. If it was long, like 30 seconds, then I just made it like 5 seconds. But the rest is all just, it's all just that interruption is just the redactions. Okay.
another girl in my class, what was her name? And
Any idea how to spell that last name?
I want to say.
Sounds about right. Okay, so she
Teachers' classes in there, and
is in the class but has another. Okay. Any problems with girls in the class?
nope, I've never really had issues. I've always very anxious type of student.
Okay.
So anytime she needed to ask me something, or she felt like something was wrong, she always wanted to bring her friends with her. She always needed like a buddy system with her to kind of huddle in, and they would be like asking the question for her.
Okay. So was she shy or was she?
I don't know if maybe like shy around authority figures.
Okay.
Because I see her like with her friends, and she's not. You know, they're playing volleyball and laughing and talking.
Okay, that makes sense. Have you ever talked to any of the other teachers at the school about? Have you heard anything else about her?
Nope.
Okay.
I know she did get Student of the Week a few weeks ago.
Okay.
The week of February 16th. I think Miss DeLuca. I saw the report. She put her on there. Nominated her.
Any idea what she was nominated for?
I don't remember what it said. Excellence or something like that. She did something in her class.
Okay.
And Miss DeLuca nominated her.
Have you ever had like a one-on-one conversation? She confide in you? Do you feel like you guys were that close? Or?
There were some times like we do some testing in the beginning of the year, like fitness testing.
Okay.
And she was running and she was telling me I can't do it, and I was like, that's okay. Like, do you need to get your inhaler? And she was like, yes. So I walked her to the locker room.
Okay.
We got her inhaler, and then I just told her like, it's okay to sit out. Like, you don't have to, you know, run crazy.
Yeah.
So we've had that like one-on-one, and then times where she felt like she needed to go to the counselor.
Okay.
She was upset about something or anxious. She would ask me. That's when her friends would kind of huddle in with her.
Okay.
And she would say, like, she needs to go to the counselor.
Just gonna pause it there for a second. Shame, man. So see there they mentioned her inhaler. The teachers were aware that she may have had asthma then if she had an inhaler. And you know what I worry about? Is that anesthetic, very strong anesthetic that Stephan Sterns was researching 2 weeks before the visit. He actually researched it on February, I think it was the 12th and the 14th. That can be inhaled. That's sevoflurane. I'm just worried about this inhaler story because there was an inhaler box, but like it's like an attachment. I'll show you guys when we go through the photos. You know, then an attachment that goes on the inhaler to make the inhaling easier. And I'm worried, like gut feel, that he, I don't know, did something with that and the strong anesthetic he was looking up and all sorts of things. But who knows? Okay, I'm just speculating. Hoffy said, do you think it's a possibility that she was getting too old for him? Because well, the P word, they seek out pre-puberty children. I'm thinking he needed to silence her. I don't, you said you would love to have your thoughts. Thank you for your sticker. I don't think that's the case. I think he was, in my opinion, if I had to speculate, jealous. I think that she said, I've got a crush on someone else. I don't want this anymore. Thank you very much. Leave me alone. We're done. Others are going to tell on you. Or just saying, look, man, just leave me alone, okay? I have a crush on someone else, especially turning 13. That's a huge milestone in one's life, you know? So that's what I think it is. I don't think it would be her age. I think he would feel like he owned her. He felt very possessive, in my opinion, of her. And he would have probably all the time. Doesn't matter what age she was, right? Okay, yeah. It's just Maura said she's still using present tense, right? And Heaven said all those bedrooms, she didn't have her own room. It makes no sense. It makes financial sense. That's the problem. That's what sucks, is she rented out that room, Stephan's room number 4, for $600, right? Her dad owned the house. Jen's dad owned the house. He rented out the rooms. So it's a financial decision more than anything else, which really sucks, right? Okay, so.
Like, to go to the counselor, and then I would write her a pass, send her to Miss, and then the girls would ask if they could go with her.
Okay.
And kind of drop her off and then come back.
Any idea why she needed to go to counseling?
There was times that she said that she was feeling anxious.
Okay.
And she just said, like, I feel like I need to talk to a counselor. So
okay.
I just normally, when kids are saying that and they recognize they need to talk to a counselor, I let them.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. I didn't know if maybe it went further than that or not. But. Okay.
Okay, I'll play it now for a moment. Therefore, I'm just pausing now because I don't want to miss this. Hasina said it's called a spacer. My kids used it when they were Madeline's age, and others also in chat are saying it's called a spacer. And the thing is that in Madeline's backpack, you know, when it was covered in what might be paint, but you know what? One of the Grizzlies emailed me and said, notice on a shelf in Jen's room, there's like a, what do you call it? A container of air drying clay. So it's like white air drying clay. And they were saying, don't you think it could be that? I do think it could be that. I do think it could be that and not maybe paint. Very interesting. And inside the backpack was obviously a laptop. There was also one croc, which will bother me always. Oh my word. Sure, that one croc is just like, okay, one croc. And then also this spacer, like a box. There was a box for the spacer. I think the spacer was in it, which is the inhaler was also in there, by the way. It was all covered in whatever it was, lotion, paint, air drying clay. So that just makes me worry that was also thrown away. Maybe it was just always in her bag because they're talking about it being at school. Sure. But I just worry about that combination of what he was researching and, her inhaler.
Have you seen any recent changes in her behavior?
Not really.
Okay.
She always just hangs around those girls, and like it's crazy that the description of what she was wearing, because she wears that all the time, like her green hoodie, her black biker shorts, and the Crocs. Like as soon as they said that, I was like, oh yeah, like that's something that she wears like all the time, kind of. But
no changes in behavior though. Okay. Any signs of depression or suicidal inclinations? How is her grade in your class? Probably a little atypical, right?
she doesn't dress out.
Okay.
So she had a locker.
Why doesn't she dress out?
I'm unsure. I don't know. She did have a locker assigned to her at the beginning of the year. I checked it just recently. Asked me to check it.
Okay.
And the lock, there was nothing on there, and there was nothing in the locker.
Okay.
A lot of kids don't like dressing out. They don't like changing in front of kids, or they feel uncomfortable. But we always give them options. There's like little showers in the back and go to the bathroom. But
okay. Mm-hmm. So if she doesn't dress out, does she still participate, or does she do something different?
Yeah, they're allowed to still participate.
Okay,
we
so
give
she
them
just
2 separate grades
okay.
of like dress out and participation.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. It's a little different too with PE because they get pulled out of our classes to go to tutoring or other things like that.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Has she been pulled out of your class for anything like that?
I believe
you mentioned
so.
the counselor. Anything else?
I think we do this thing called MTSS.
Okay.
It's an intervention like tutoring.
Okay.
I believe she was on that list for a little bit in the beginning of the year. So she would go like twice a week. They would take her out of PE.
Okay.
And she would go there.
And what's it called?
MTSS intervention.
MTSS intervention.
Yeah, that's with Miss Godwin.
Okay.
I believe she was on that list.
Okay. Okay. Have you ever seen any signs of abuse for her or anything like that?
No.
Any bruises? Any references to anything that was going on?
No.
I know it's kind of hard looking back now.
Yeah,
It always is.
I know. But
Okay.
no, I mean, I guess just maybe the inclination of like her maybe wearing a hoodie all the time. But
Okay.
like it's cold, you know,
Yeah.
you don't know.
Yeah. Kids,
So
yeah.
yeah. But
Okay.
no.
Nothing obvious. She hasn't mentioned anything to you.
No.
Never saw any bruising. Nothing crazy like that.
Nope.
So yeah, I'm gathering this is the PE or gym teacher, and when she said that Maddie didn't dress out, I see a lot of comments here just saying, yeah, like that she didn't dress for gym class. She hasn't changed in front of people. Shame, man. Shell says dress out means changing into PE clothes. Also, we will talk more about this inhaler, the spacer, what I think looks like paint on the backpack, the room, and everything. We'll do a whole live stream just looking at some of the photos. I want to say all, but like, well, there's like 800 photos. We might have to split that up into different rooms and things. Even the vehicle photos, there's a lot of those, but there's a lot to talk about when we go over that. So then I will explain a little bit more what I mean when I'm saying I'm worried about that connection. Okay, so for today, I just want to make sure we've got 1 hour and 10 minutes of audio. And as you know, when we comment in between and we study this as a community, it can take double the time, from the audio. So we're going to have to, like with photos, we're going to have to do a whole separate episode on that. We've still got Stephan Sterns, oh my word, police interviews to go over. For that, please do bring your snarky pants. Oh my word.
Okay. Is there anything else you think I need to know about your relationship?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. Just the only thing I would say is just to me, she was a very anxious child. So for her to like maybe go away on her own just didn't sound right to me.
Okay.
Knowing that she always needed a buddy or she needed somebody with her.
Okay.
But yeah.
Hello to Core TV. Nice to see you in chat. We still want to know who you are running the handle. Thank you so much for being here and for sharing the bears. And yeah, it's not a bad suggestion. Maybe a video per room could be a good idea because yeah, people sometimes I see are confusing the rooms when they talk about it. A video per room. I've already organized the photos per room, so that should be helpful. So maybe we'll do that, or we'll do a live stream just going through as much as we can, right? Okay, so let's keep going.
Have you ever anybody from around town?
I've met her
Okay.
for one of the PE teachers maybe a few months ago. We had a short, brief conversation, but nothing. She was very nice, and that's really it.
That's it?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody else? No aunts, cousins, nothing?
Nope.
Okay, cool. I ask because these communities are pretty small. You know, cousins go to other schools, and it's all pretty close knit. So, she doesn't have any relatives that go here, does she?
Not that I know of.
Okay. Okay. All right. Did you have any questions or anything for me?
No.
All right, Ms. Rentis, can you swear and affirm everything you told me has been true and correct? All right, you can go back to class. Hi, Ms. DeLuca, how you doing? My name's Detective Payne. You can just call me Jeff. You want to have...
Okay, did the label not change? If not, we'll just crop that or put a label over. Mr. A new teacher. Okay. Cobalt Blue says, do you know how old the son was of Jen's roommate? They said, Jen said 17, and that son was only there for about half the week, every week. And you say, where do you think he slept? I mean, I wonder if he didn't stay sometimes in the guest room, right? Or we did hear from the roommate as well, sometimes in the roommate's room. It's just Mora. Welcome to all the new members.
Have a seat. Sorry for the ominous setup, but this is, at least we're in some air conditioning at least. So. All right, so first name is
Angela.
Angela DeLuca, D-L-U-C-A?
D-E-L-U-C-A, and I have a double last name. It's DeLuca Limose, L-I-M-O-S-E.
O-S-E. Okay, and what's your date of birth?
This case is heartbreaking. Oh my goodness.
1991. Oh, that's okay. Yeah, they put us kind of over here in the corner, didn't they? So.
I don't know the portable numbers.
There's a handful of us. That's why we're out here. We're not in the office. But what's a good address for you? Okay, cool. How do you...
She's at my first period class, so she's supposed to be my first period class.
Okay. What do you teach?
I teach.
Okay. How well do you know her?
I thought pretty well. She has been in my class all year round. She's always very sweet, and she's struggles a bit. I mean, all my kids are intensive kids, so they're the students who are struggling. She was on my door decorating team.
So she's, I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but she's been in your class since fall?
Since the beginning of the year,
fall
yes.
Fall of 23, and then, okay, okay.
She was on my door decorating team. She was actually chosen to be my student of the week from 2 weeks ago for helping us win our door decorating competition with our friends.
Okay.
And she came before school and after school a couple times for that event, which was 1 week.
Okay.
So if you guys didn't hear that before, we went over that in that 896-page document a few months ago from the district attorney's office, right? They talked about this door decorating competition that they had at Maddie's school. And Maddie did so well because everything was going so much better, I would speculate because Stephan Sterns moved on, that this door decorating competition was about a week, and she was so motivated with it, and she would, she would arrive before school started and stay later until, after school, beyond when school was finished, and she was so into decorating this door, she actually won Student of the Week with that. Shame, man, her school work really started improving. She started feeling so much better. She told her friends she's stopping her medication, which would have been, actually they said it was on Valentine's Day. Yes, that she'd stopped her medication. Now, the thing is, if you pair that with Stephan Sterns saying, yeah, she wasn't taking her medication regularly that week before he visited, we've spoken about that before. It sounds very sinister because Jen later said that it was the Miralax that Maddie was not taking consistently anymore. So you can put all that together. It's terrible, right? Sunny, welcome. But that's what they're talking about. And we go through the photos. The photos are all different formats. I don't know why. But some of them are PDFs. When we go through that, you can actually see Maddie's laptop, which they took out of her backpack, which was obviously found in the dumpster. And on the back is a sticker saying, like, well done for, winning this door decorating competition, just in case you guys are wondering what on earth are they talking about over there.
You got Student of the Week.
Yes.
For the door decorating.
Her certificate's on my desk to give her.
Okay. Did they win door decorating?
Yeah.
Okay. You said that she came early?
Yes, her and her came with a few other students to help with the door decorating the week of Literacy Week, which check if you need exact dates. I think it was January.
Do you have a picture of the door?
Yeah.
Can you text that to me?
I wish we had a picture of the door. I want to see that. Sounds like it was really nice, Welcome, Betty. Okay.
And I will text you right now, so you'll have my number.
Our door was all about spreading kindness and love, and they put in a lot of thought and effort into it. With it, so I'll send you the picture.
Oh, perfect.
Of her in it.
Yes, perfect. How well do you think you know her? You said you thought you knew her pretty well. Did you guys have like one-on-ones? Like
not really any one-on-ones.
Okay.
Like I didn't even know. Like I didn't.
Okay.
Like I thought I knew her. Like I know my other students, but we've never really had a lot of personal talks.
Okay.
Really, her showing up for door decorating was probably the most that I've had like private conversations with her. It was with her other friends there.
Oh, that's okay.
The most tech savvy.
Yeah, and then we have to have a light moment in all this darkness, right? There's all the typing. Then there's also some sniffles. Sorry about that. That was a big, it's a big sniff by the detective there. Sorry. Normally we have sniffle-free episodes. Could have cut that out. Sorry about that.
I've been talking with the other teachers. I know she's very good friends with. Don't know.
Okay.
I'm speaking of. Who she's also good friends with, I believe. Okay. I think that is sending to you now. The picture right next to her, and they both won Student of the Week for door decorating.
Okay, let me see. Make sure I get this. Yep.
Sorry, gotta pause again. Otherwise, what we talked about a few minutes ago gets lost, and it's out of context when I talk about it later, or people don't catch that, right? So Maria Palamarchuk, did I say it right? Palamarchuk said it would be very hard for a non-medical person to buy that anesthesia. But the problem is that they were poodle breeders, the parents, right? And they would dock the puppy tails. And they also had a farm at some point. So it's not that it's not that implausible to speculate that Stephan's parents had it at the house. And that may be why he was Googling it. Because he just Googled it. Why would he Google that out of nowhere? You know what I mean? So I think it's because he would have seen it around the house. Maybe he was even looking for it for himself. I'm not saying that he was looking for it to give to Maddie, but that is also one of the options. He could have just been looking for anxiety meds for himself and Googled that sevoflurane. But yeah, not implausible that it would be at that house based on all the puppies, docking of the tails, previously having a farm.
Okay, so green sweater is behind.
Need the other students' names as well?
Sarah, I'll just take Sarah.
I just know that there was maybe some kind of stuff on his cell phone.
Okay, who told you that?
I saw it online. The police, the sheriff.
You saw it online?
Report,
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
The sheriff report.
Okay.
As far as I know.
Getting worried about the kids' names, so I might chop that out. So I just want to make sure we don't miss anything.
Confide in you or anything?
Not anything like what we learned about last night. Nothing like that.
Okay. What did they tell you last night?
About the maybe sexual assault. I don't know. I just know that there was maybe some kind of stuff on his cell phone.
Okay. Who told you that?
I saw it online. The police, the sheriff.
You saw it online?
Report.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The sheriff report.
Okay.
As far as I know. The only thing that I can say related to that is I know that she had been reading a book a couple months ago, and it had kissing in it, and it was a graphic novel, and she was like scandalized that there was a kissing scene. So I hope and pray that nothing had been happening sexually. I don't know, but she had been acting like, oh my gosh, kissing, like that it was like a shocking thing to like see a picture of two people kissing. They had been talking during, again, I'm not part of this conversation, they were talking about how they had heard Lady Gaga's, oh my God, Want to Take a Ride on My Disco Stick, and Mr. Luca, did you know what that song was about? So they've had, but they were all acting very, scandalized, shocked by it. So I'm hoping and praying that she has not had that, but I don't. But that's most of my students. They're 12. They're just learning about that kind of thing. They're going through sex ed and science class right now. Can I ask, was there evidence of that?
The investigation's still ongoing, so unfortunately I can't really go into too many details. So she never made any disclosures to you about, like you said, sexual abuse, being abused in any other way at home, nothing like that?
No, I didn't even know that. I had never heard her mention. I don't think I've ever. I'm trying to think if she came to open house, but I don't think so.
So you have not met anybody in Angela's?
I believe so.
Okay. Have you seen any signs of depression or suicide?
No.
Suicidal ideation, anything like that? Okay.
I was shocked when the kids were telling me about the live in the woods conversation. I was, no, guys, that's... It was on her phone, but I was shocked to hear something like that.
Just gonna pause it for a second. I don't know if I did discuss it. Did I discuss it on this channel? Meaning, I've made comments on other channels, but Cobalt Blue says, will you discuss the comment about Stephan Sterns having a double member? He doesn't have one. In my opinion, based on having to go and reanalyze those photos, no, it would be the way the people taking the photos are manipulating the skin that makes it look that way in one photo. But it's not consistent. If it was, they would have taken many more photos of that, if that was the case. So it's only one photo. It's a bit of a weird angle. They're trying to show the freckle on his you-know-what. And so by pushing on, I'm trying to say this, by pushing on soft skin below that freckle, it might look like there's a double mini member, but there isn't one. It's just the finger on the other side pushing through that. Does it make sense? Am I making sense? Oh no, I don't want to see it again. Please don't make me look at it again. But they took pictures of Stephan Sterns from the front, from the left, from the right, and then everything. Okay, the freckle, the ball sack around. Okay, and so you could see many pictures. So it's only this one picture that one could perhaps take out of context. But if you look at it, you're like, oh, yeah, there's a hand on the other side with gloved fingers. Oh, okay, so that's what it is, all right? Wafa Jones said that the teacher is more heartbroken than Jen. That speaks volumes. Love being a Grizzly. Thank you for being a Grizzly. And yes, this teacher sounds very concerned.
She was very excited about her birthday.
Okay.
And before I go on, because I see a lot of people are wondering, you know, why would Maddie like react like that to a book that's got kissing in it? Well, she was probably just mimicking what her friends were doing to fit in. You know what I mean? If they're all like, oh my word, there's like kissing in here, you won't believe it. I mean, why would she be like, psh? You know what I mean? So I think that's what it would be.
How are her grades in your class?
Low.
Okay.
She's had a D pretty much every quarter. Kind of like when we are working in class, she's able to, and then she does get extended time. It's the follow through and getting things done that she didn't really do very often.
Okay. Have you seen any real shifts in her behavior?
No.
Okay.
If anything, I would say that it was almost better since like door decorating. Like I felt like she was trying a little bit harder in class.
Okay.
Shame. And you know, when they're asking obviously any mood shifts, any changes, but I mean, based on what we know now, shame, man, Maddie had been abused for so long. So the only, as the teachers all know, the only change really was that she was doing a lot better. And what was that big change? Stephan Sterns had moved out in December. Yes. Someone said TGK says that investigator is burning that keyboard up. I know, right?
And I'm sorry, when was the door decorating competition?
I think that's what I was going to find out when that picture was from. I'm sorry. So that picture was, when it was finished, was January 26th. So that was a Friday. So that full week was when we did door decorating.
Okay.
January 22nd through the 26th.
22nd to the
And there was a few days before school and a few days after school that they came and decorated. I no longer have the log of what days they came.
Okay.
Once I had her name on the list.
Which is marking as the end of January.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything else you think I need to know about anybody she talked to? Anybody? Do you feel like anybody she might have confided in?
Friends, and then when I'm talking to other teachers, they go, "Oh no, the others so on." They are like, "Oh, we don't see Ellis as much." But I would have said that together, all in my first period together. Okay. So they're all together, and I kind of just associate the three of them together.
A lot of redactions, thank goodness. Goldie said, meaning for the names of the children, things like that. So Goldie said, I think she was trying to cover her excessive knowledge. Shame can make you do some strange things. I agree with you, Goldie. 2 woofs. Thank you so much for your $50 super sticker. You say coffee's all round for Mama Grizzly and the mods. Thank you so much. I say this only to inform, if you want to buy the mods coffees, you have to go to the buy me a coffee mod link, which is on grizzlytruecrime.com. on the support page. Also, Nightbot shares it like this the whole time. Wait, Nightbot. There, no, we don't want to open the link now. We want to show the link. You can buy me a coffee via that link, and you can buy the mods. You have to buy the mods a coffee via that link because we calculate it every quarter and then distribute it evenly. So thank you so much for the sticker and supporting the channel. Really, really appreciate that. Okay, so let's keep going. So much I can say about what she just said right now. Still redacted, okay.
Okay. Okay. Is there anything else?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I've been crying since Monday, since they called me and tried to ask if she was in my first grade class that day. I just wish we had more information.
Okay. I certainly appreciate taking time to talk to me. Okay. Can you swear and affirm everything you told me has been true and correct?
Yes, absolutely.
Right. Thank you so much. What's your first name?
Nick. Or Nicholas. I don't know if any.
All right. So now we're on to the next teacher, Nicholas. Okay. So we're hearing from quite a few teachers today, which is very informative. As I say, there's a lot of things that people are still saying that we've gone over, like if you didn't know, and it's okay. I know that people can't just watch like 2.5, 3 hour streams all day, every day, all the time. I know a lot of people do. So thank you so much, especially if you're studying this case with me, because every single day we're learning more and more and more, or we're going over things that we've already gone over before in a different format. For example, that almost 1,000-page document we went over before, there as well, they talked about many of the things that we're now hearing. And we'd recently gone over some new documents from the Kissimmee Police Department where they talked about Jen Soto's ex-husband, and he had a daughter, and that at some point Maddie had her own room. She had her own room, and so did the other little girl, you know? And then Jen and this guy would stay in one room, and they were upstairs. So it's very sad that as Maddie progressed in age, things just got worse for her, you know, because there was Stephan Sterns after Jen and that guy got divorced. We went over all the reasons they got divorced and all the things. So if you'd missed that, it's all on the playlist, right? So, shame, man. And then she's got this like partitioned off area. But Jen did say she didn't really sleep there. She mostly liked to sleep, you know, she had liked human contact. So with Jen, usually. But so she said, no, we just like hang out in her room, the makeshift area. And then all the rooms upstairs were rented out, including Stephan's room, that Stephan's dad had to then pay for, $600 a month. Okay.
Phone's the best way to reach me, though.
Okay. Yeah, I just try to list everything in here in case we need it. So, so how do you know?
She is in my 7th grade, or 7th grade, 7th period. End of the day.
Been there since fall?
Yes, since the beginning of the year.
How would you say your relationship is with her?
Oh, great. Like, I think she likes me as a teacher, and she's a very good, well-behaved student. On the quieter side, she sometimes does her work. I guess, like, she has her, we call them sleepy days, where, like, she'll come in, just want to do nothing but put her head down and kind of ignore most things, but then, like, she'll end up doing her work later on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do a lot of kids do that?
Not really.
Okay.
No. Like, a lot of them will put their head down, but she'll do it a lot more often than the other ones.
Okay. Just bear with me. Let's take
Oh,
notes
no,
while
of
we
course.
talk.
No, that's good.
Would you say your relationship is close with her?
As far as teacher-student goes, I would say fairly average. I don't know much about her personal life or anything like that, but I keep like academic tabs on her mostly.
Okay.
Yeah. But the typical, hey, how's your weekend? Did you have fun? I knew she had a birthday party this past weekend, stuff like that, but basic information for the most part.
So just typical conversations?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you guys ever have like one-on-one conversations? Was it always like in a group and passing, things like that?
If we ever had one-on-one conversations, it was just about grades and maybe that she wasn't, like, she needed to pull up something or turn in an assignment, but that would not have been more than once, maybe twice.
Okay, so she never confided anything in you? You guys never...
Sorry, I'm just going to pause there. Luna, that's a good theory, actually. You're like, I think the dog probably carried the croc and went too late in the corner. That's not impossible. The dog may have done just that. Maybe Stephan carried, that's plausible because Maddie's socks were clean when she was found, right? Maybe carried her out of the house and one croc dropped on the floor and maybe the dog carried it to the corner. That's one theory. Could write that down as one of the possible ones. Okay.
Talked about home life, anything like that?
Unfortunately, no.
Okay.
No. I was a substitute teacher for my class, but I never actually saw her in person.
Okay. When was the sub?
Oh, wow. Oh, when I got married. October 21st, I think, was when she was my sub.
Okay.
Might have been a week before that.
October 23?
Yeah, October 2023, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Have you seen any recent changes in her behavior?
Recent? No.
How about changes overall in her behavior?
By the way, I think this is a picture of her grandfather.
Actually, yeah, I don't know why it says recent, but not really.
Okay.
She had less sleepy days, I guess, would actually be a thing.
Okay.
It was more so in the beginning of the year. But other than that, no changes.
Has she had any signs of depression or suicidal ideations, inclinations?
Nothing with suicide. I know that, like, fatigue and stuff like that can be a sign of depression, but without anything being confided in me, I never assumed or anything like that. I just assumed she never got any sleep.
Okay. What's her grades like?
They were a little bit rough, and then she brought them up.
Okay.
She'll go through phases of not turning anything in, turning everything in, not turning it in, turning it all in. I would still say probably in the BC range, but I'm not 100% sure right now. I have to pull it up.
No big shifts in behavior, nothing like that?
No.
Okay.
Nope. Even on that Friday, she said, okay, I'll see you Monday.
Do you know which Friday that was?
The Friday before her birthday party, and she disappeared.
Okay. When was that?
Shame. That Friday, she said to this teacher, okay, see you Monday. Man.
Is that the... 16th? 23rd.
The 23rd, I believe, is when, yeah, because we had Jerry Craft the day before, basketball game.
Okay.
Yeah, so as we were leaving 7th period, I always say, like, oh, I'll see you guys Monday, and I'm pretty sure she said something along the lines of see you Monday, too, but can't be 100% sure.
Okay. Okay. Anything else you think I need to know? About talk to friends, anything she
unfortunately
said, anything?
Unfortunately, I don't think I have any more information that you guys have, because a student did come up to me and tell me that she was talking with friends about wanting to live in the woods, like after she turned 13, but I think you guys already have all that.
Yeah.
Other than that, no, she just seemed like a very, like, normal, like, on the quiet and tired side, but like a very normal kid, you know?
Okay.
Wouldn't have thought anything would be up with her. She had the birthday party coming up, so we assumed that she would actually be in really good, you know, spirits and stuff like that, too.
Okay. Anything else?
I wish I had more.
All right.
Sorry.
That's okay. I appreciate you taking the time to talk to me,
Yeah,
Nick.
of course, anytime.
Can you swear to affirm everything you told me has been true and correct?
Yes, absolutely.
All right, have a good one.
Absolutely.
Today.
I would still like clarity on where Madeline stayed on Saturday night, because I think it was still at her grandmother's house, but she spent the day with her grandfather because the grandmother said that she spent the day with my ex-husband. But then did she stay at the grandfather's house or the grandmother's house or what? That Saturday timeline also needs a lot, right? I don't know how we're going to get it because we're listening to so much of this, maybe at the trial. Hopefully they've got a good timeline and presentation, right? If he doesn't plead guilty or something like that, if there is a trial. Well, hopefully they have a good timeline, because that Saturday, with the reason I'm thinking of it is because they were talking about their birthday party now and saying that she would probably be in good spirits because she was going to have a birthday party, because remember her birthday was on the Thursday and her party was on the Sunday, the 25th. And they said that one of her friends actually said that a lot of the friends cancelled going to her birthday party on Saturday. And Maddie had also texted one of her friends saying, I'm having a meltdown, help me. So now I don't know if it would be about like, oh crap, like Stephan says that he is coming over tomorrow, or like, or it could be a combination of things, or if she was freaking out because some of the friends cancelled. And if so, why did they? What did they see, hear, know, what happened? I don't know. Lots to think about, right? Lots to think about. Okay. Also, let me answer this quickly. 3-Vol Lady said, what is your opinion on... So you said, Gisela, what is your opinion on the writing in Maddie's book? Do you think it was Jen that wrote about her ability to work? I do wonder. I mean, initially I thought, okay. I mean, it sounds like quite mature in a way, that writing that we've looked at before in what seemed to be one of Maddie's notebooks, like a school book. But then somebody had emailed me to say they work with disability claims. And that's the exact wording that people use on those claims. So it may have been Jen using Maddie's notebook for a second there to have, maybe she didn't have paper or whatever, to practice what she's going to write on some kind of disability claims. Could be that. So that was an interesting one. As I say, I really appreciate when you guys send me information. It is so helpful to put this like all together, right? So especially like that, if you spot something in the photos, or if you have information like that, like, oh my word, maybe it could be that. If the wording is so similar to so many claims that this person sees, wow, that's interesting. Lee says, for good chocolates, you can use. Nice thought. Thank you so much. And I live in Switzerland. They've got very good chocolate here. Yes, thank you so much.
Today's date is February 29th, 2024. The time is 13:18 hours. This is Detective Hunt for OCSO case 24-0-11313. What's your role here? Yeah. And how long have you worked here?
This is my 10th year.
10 years. Wow. Okay. And you were teaching this whole year?
Yes.
And you've been employed here this whole year?
Yes.
Okay. Are you familiar with a 7th grade student that goes here by the name of?
My students.
And you teach her? What period do you have her?
She was in my 3rd period, and then in January she was moved to my 6th period.
Okay. And are you familiar with why I'm out here to talk to you at all?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to see if maybe you had an idea. Well, I just have a very specific few questions regarding. Can you...
Okay, so I've got Miss Ellis, another teacher now. What I'm looking for is Carlene. You said in chat, Grizzly, I emailed you a pic of the class store. I don't see that email. When did you email it? I don't see it. I can't filter for it. So if you could please send it again to Grizzly with a double Z, Grizzly truecrime@gmail.com. I would like to see that. That would be great.
Maybe tell me, I guess, tell me a little bit about her, what's she like?
She's very quiet, reserved. She looks sad quite often.
Okay.
She has like, even on say on your assignment, like to redirect her within a very short amount of time, she's lost focus again. She'll have her head down. She's often in the clinic, whether she was in my 3rd period or currently in my 6th period. She's oftentimes in the clinic.
Okay. And what's that for, usually?
Either she's not feeling well or she has anxiety.
Okay. when you say she's not feeling well, what does that mean? Did she tell you ever?
She's like, I'm not feeling good. Can I go to the nurse?
Did she ever describe it at all? Like, my stomach's hurting, my head's hurting, I'm feeling sad, anxious.
I just know that she has anxiety.
Okay.
So I just allow her to go to the nurse and see the nurse.
And is that common in other periods too that you know of? I don't know if y'all ever talk about it.
I don't know about the other periods, but it stayed about the same as far as third period versus sixth period.
Okay. Is she ever absent from school?
She is. Mm-hmm. Without looking at my sheets, I can't tell you how frequent it is.
Would you describe her just off the top of your head as like frequently absent, or is it just not frequent enough for you to notice and call it something?
Because she's in the clinic so much and she goes home, she's missing my class a lot.
Got it. Okay.
So whether she's gone home or she's still in the clinic, she does miss my class a lot.
Okay. So you said normally she's very quiet and reserved. How long have you known her for?
For the school year.
This is the first year you've taught her here?
Yes.
Is she a new student here?
I am unsure.
Okay, that's fine. Have you noticed any recent changes in her behavior?
I have.
Okay, how so?
On January 22nd, with her being moved, and the only reason why I know this is because I was looking at my talking points, and on January 22nd, I met through talking points and said that, explained to her that she had been moved to my sixth period, and that I'm noticing she's more tired, more like withdrawn in my sixth period class. Like she's lost more focus than usual. And I just forgot. You're just seeing her in her natural state. I forgot to give her medicine.
So she got moved into your sixth period class?
Correct.
Where was she moved from?
So she was in so there was a problem with chorus.
Oh, okay.
And so the only other period that particular chorus that she was in was third period, so they swapped third and sixth. So she's now in chorus third period and me sixth period, and it was different.
So she was just moved for timing reasons, for scheduling reasons.
Right.
Helen, yes, thank you for reminding everyone. That is true. You said, think most of these teacher interviews are, I also think they didn't clarify, some of them they redacted the dates, but most are around, it sounds like the 29th of Feb. And so you say, so before Maddie was found. Yes, Maddie's body was found on March 1st.
Gotcha, but there was nothing happening in chorus.
I just know that there was an issue with something happening in chorus with students.
Gotcha. So there was some sort of issue in chorus.
Correct.
So they switched her around so she'd be in your sixth period.
Correct.
Got it. And I guess there's different students in that other period of chorus.
Correct.
Gotcha.
BB Glazer said Talking Points is an app that teachers use to contact parents. Thank you so much for that.
Sorry, gotta make sure I write.
You're fine.
And so you noticed that her behavior was a lot different from third to sixth period. So she was more withdrawn, more tired. That's just how she more often is. Like, that's her natural kind of.
So that particular day when I messaged her, she's like, that's something to the effect of, that's her, you're seeing her in her natural state. I forgot to give her ADHD meds or something like that.
Gotcha. That particular day.
Yeah. But it didn't.
You see, we want to clarify this. Mel said, hey G, interview stated she cried, didn't want to leave grandma, and then grandma called the grandpa, to pick her up. But then after that, this part, I didn't hear that because I listened a few times as well. I want to know, and then what? And then what? Spent the day with the grandpa. I heard all of that and the activities they did, but then I would love to, if you have a timestamp, if they clarified that she then went home, that would be interesting because I did not hear that, even though I mean, I don't hear everything, right? I try my best, but what I heard, it was like, oh man, there's still no clarification. And then what? What happened after the whole day of activities and all of that, right? Did she then go back to grandma's or did she go home? The reason I'm not sure if she would have gone home is because she had a birthday party the next day. So, and Jen went to work. She didn't talk about dropping her off at the birthday party, if I'm not mistaken. So the birthday party was also at grandma's home. So it makes sense to stay at grandma's house because there she wakes up and then the next day is a birthday party. And then Jen's sister took her home on Sunday, right? Even though initially Jen Soto lied and said that Stephan took her home. Wow, big lies in all these documents. I don't even know like how to track all these lies anymore. Between what Jen says, what Stephan says, there were a lot of police interviews, a lot of lies. Okay, so luckily listening to all these other interviews, it helps bring in some clarity because of course we can believe that these people have no reason to lie, right? Stephan does, it seems like, and I wonder if Jen does too. Okay, so Amy says, why no school nurse interview? I don't know. I wonder if they did interview the school nurse. I don't have that in this FOIA file though, but I don't know.
Seem to improve.
But that's just how she was.
Yeah.
Okay. What about her grades? How have they been?
So all year they've been DF.
Okay.
And in the past, like she wouldn't do all of her assignments, but like every couple of assignments she would do one. But lately, since moving into my 6th period, she hasn't. There might be 1 or 2 assignments that she completed since moving into my 6th period till now.
Okay. Have you talked to her about it, or
I do. I meet with her weekly. Like, hey, how's your assignments going? She's like, I'm working on them.
Okay.
But that's like the extent of it.
She just says she's working on it. And in your weekly meetings, I mean, has she ever talked about life at home and mentioned being sad or depressed or... Okay.
No.
Has she ever shown any signs of being depressed?
I mean, with her just... It's hard to tell because she was always having anxiety. She was always like putting her head down like she wasn't feeling well. So
gotcha. Has she ever expressed anything? I know that you would have reported it obviously, but has she ever expressed anything about wanting to hurt someone else or hurt herself?
No.
So as far as like her state of mind or her mental state in your class, as far as you know, she's just very quiet, but
Correct.
You wouldn't necessarily describe that as like sad or depressed, just withdrawn.
Correct.
That's what it sounds like. I just want to make sure I'm understanding.
Like having a hard time focusing.
Yeah. But she also has ADHD, right? So
She does. She also has an IEP.
Oh, okay. So do you think maybe...
I always thought that it was part like because she struggles with learning.
Mm-hmm.
So I always thought, kids that struggle with learning also are a little bit withdrawn and have a hard time focusing.
Yeah.
So
it's common of kids who struggle, and that might be because they're just not understanding what's... Okay.
Correct.
So an IEP is an individualized educational plan to develop. It's a plan or program developed to ensure that a child who has a disability identified under the law and is attending an elementary or secondary educational institution receives specialized instruction and related services. Okay, interesting. So
so it doesn't sound like her grades have necessarily declined, but they were never
it's been worse this quarter since being moved in January to my
Gotcha.
period.
Okay.
you are right. Amy's also talking about the HIPAA privacy laws, and Just Ann Oki said HIPAA laws would stop nurse from disclosure of any information. Good point as well. Amy M said the HIPAA privacy rule contains an exception permitting a covered entity to disclose PHI to law enforcement officials without patient authorization if there is. Thank you so much, Amy M and Just Ann Oki, for that information.
Has there, and you've only known her for this school year, so it's only been, what, 6-7 months?
Yeah.
I guess, has there been any, aside from being moved to your 6th period, has there been any other notable shift in behavior that in your experience might indicate something's happening at home, or in your experience that there's something more going on? Okay. So nothing has kind of raised any red flags with you that there might be something happening?
The only difference is from when she was moved to my 6th, I did notice that the behavior changed, and that's why I was
okay. Yeah, I get it. Any other interaction or involvement with you specifically, or any other conversations?
We've had other conversations about her not passing my class, and hey, she's missing these assignments.
And what's her? What'd she say to that?
Sometimes she'll respond, and sometimes, okay, I'll work with her on it, but...
Okay. It sounds like that's kind of I'm working on it kind of thing, but nothing really definitive.
Correct.
Okay. Has she ever disclosed that anything being abused at home in any way, physically, sexually, verbally?
No.
She's never disclosed or shown any signs of that you've been a teacher for 10 years, so I trust that you can see that kind of stuff, or you have your own way of identifying that. But
I've been a teacher for 13.
Oh, so yeah.
So yeah.
Even more so.
So no,
okay.
I haven't noticed that.
Gotcha. So nothing that's raised that red flag to you thus far. And there's also, if I'm understanding you right, nothing that's raised a red flag that she's necessarily sad or depressed, but it seems more like she's withdrawn because of her, possibly because she has trouble learning.
That is how I have process it.
Well, that's what it appears like to you, right? It would look different otherwise, I guess. Okay. Well, obviously we're out here talking to you because we're all working very hard and very concerned, and we're all just looking for some things that might help us. Is there anything, as someone who's known her for several more months than I have, that might help me or help any of us get in her head a little bit and maybe figure something out?
Unfortunately, I wish I did.
That's fine. No. That's completely fine. I just, always looking for something. But do you have any questions for me? Is there anything I can? Okay.
No.
Cool. Well, thank you for talking to me. Can I just have you do one more thing? Raise your right hand. Do you swear that everything you told me is truth?
Yes.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm going to end this. 13.
Sorry, I'm just going to pause it there. Isn't this picture so adorable? Oh, my word. Thank you so much, Carlene. I was asking Carlene in chat, please send me the picture of the door, and now I've received it. Okay, let's have a look. Let's have a look at this picture quickly. Oh yeah. Actually, I remember reading something like this. This is what kindness does. Miss Albert said, each little thing we do goes out like a ripple into the world. Shame. This is what Madeline was working on. This door is part of a project, obviously with other kids. Let me see how many other kids. There's another picture I got here, but I don't want to show the names. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 kids, it seems like, on this list of names of congratulations. But Maddie won Student of the Week for this project. She liked it so much and she did so well with it. So shame, man. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, Carlene, for sending that to me. Normally I keep all my sources anonymous, but Carlene was in chat. I asked Carlene to send it to me. So thank you, Carlene. Really appreciate that. Okay. Hypnotizers Lobster said, the teachers said Maddie moved from a 504 to an IEP, which is an increased level of help or accommodations or services. Shame. Okay, so we've got about 15 minutes left of audio.
30 hours.
Today's date is February 29, 2024. The time is 15:20 hours. It's reference to Orange County case number 24-011313. I'm Detective Bradshaw with the Orange County Sheriff's Office. Sir, can you state your first name for me, please?
My name is Italo.
Spell it for me. Assume that she was one of your students. Would that be correct?
She was, yes.
Okay, what period did you have her in?
I had her initially in 6th period for the start of the year. And then she requested to be moved to 3rd period because she was having some issues of not being able to keep up, or rather, she was keeping up, but it was too many behavioral issues around her, so she was getting tired, she requested to move to 3rd.
So not behavioral issues specifically with her, but with other kids that were in your class that she didn't like.
Correct, yeah.
I got it. Okay. Did she ever talk to you about her home life, anything that was going on with her, anything like that?
No.
She never said anything to you? Did at any point, did she ever disclose any sort of physical or sexual or mental abuse to you?
No.
Okay. Did she mention anything to you about having any suicidal ideations, ever making any attempts at suicide?
No.
Okay. Did she ever express to you...
Okay, so they're saying the S word, you know, the self-deleting word, oh dear, many times in this audio. As you know, YouTube, sure, they're very strict with that word, which I wish it could just be a word, because it is what it is. Calling it anything else, you know, just because the platform's very PG-13. But the point is, please like and share, otherwise people will never see the stream. YouTube will suppress the reach, okay? And if you watch on a TV or something and it says like, you can't watch this, or you sure you're over 18, just know that that's why. It's because that they're very sensitive with that word. See It With Me says, gee, have you heard anything about her biological father? Did he have any contact with Maddie? We did actually see an interview of his that's on the playlist, so we went over that before as well. Shame, man, he looked so distraught. And we also saw her biological father and I guess stepmom then, his partner. And we saw them at the vigil for Maddie as well, making beautiful speeches and things. So that's what we know so far. All right. I haven't heard any interviews. With him, but he lived in Texas, and I'm not too sure how much Maddie really saw him.
Anytime if she had any mental or medical diagnosis?
No.
Okay. Did she discuss taking any medications with you for anything?
No, the only time I've ever seen her take anything was Tylenol.
Okay.
In the front office, Miss Schilling could confirm with that too, because we both kind of saw her because we were trying to figure out how to make sure that she was okay to take those.
Okay.
In here, so.
Did you notice any sort of like recent changes in her behavior from the start of the school year until now?
Not really, no. She just seemed happier within the third period class that we were in,
okay,
which is the advanced treble course I have. She seemed happier there. She learned her music really quickly, as with the rest of the girls in that class. She usually is very participatory. She's usually up performing with us. She doesn't miss a concert. She doesn't miss anything. The only thing I guess I could note is like on Friday she was sitting, but that a lot of the girls sit at random times, and that's related to either they have cramps or whatever. So I didn't think that was odd, but you know, she usually is up and participating and active.
She didn't tell you that anything was wrong on Friday?
No.
Okay, she didn't mention to you that anything had been going on, or that she was feeling sad or down or anything like that? Okay. And you haven't, in your opinion, you haven't seen her have any sort of signs that she's been depressed since the beginning of the school year at all, or any suicidal?
Like, she just seemed pretty normal, very, very happy, easy making her friends. You know, I would say she bloomed a lot more in third because she had her friends there. So she was more outspoken and more confident. You know, she's very helpful in my class. She even organized my piano once because it was all papers on top of it. She put it all together, she wanted to do that. So, that's not noticed anything.
So Stephan Sterns mentioned that Madeline had a beautiful voice, and so did Jen Soto. That's the one nice thing I've heard Jen Soto say about her daughter. The rest does not sound very nice. Is that she had a beautiful voice and she was in choir. Now, the thing is, this teacher is saying that she was like sitting down and not really participating as much, it sounds like, on the Friday. But I was wondering why, because obviously Stephan wasn't around then. However, maybe he said he's coming over for the weekend, or she was worried about the birthday party or something. But remember, her birthday was the day before, on Thursday, which would have been the 22nd, I think it was. So I don't know what she did on that Thursday. I don't know if she was at home, if she had apparently complained to her friends that her mother didn't give her anything that year or something like that. So I don't know. Someone had said in chat before and in the comments, like, maybe Jen didn't have anything to give. Maybe she didn't, wasn't able to. But I mean, shame, man, if she just turned 13, like, I don't know, make a card, pick a flower. There's many free ways as well that one can show a lot of love and attention, right, to a child on their birthday. So I don't know how her birthday really was. I'm very curious about that. Like, what happened? What was it like? So maybe that's why she was sitting on Friday. Maybe she wasn't very happy about the day before. I'm just speculating now. I'm just wondering, why would that be? Maybe that's why. Maybe her birthday wasn't so great. But she had a party on Sunday at her grandmother's house.
off about her.
Okay. Now, I don't know how you, like, do your grades or anything like that in your class. Has she declined at all in her participation, like in her grades, anything of that nature that you've noticed?
She maintains pretty steady, and I just grade participation if you're standing and performing and the concerts, so I've not noticed anything of decline. She is there. That the only time, and even on Friday when she was sitting, I think she was still singing with us. She was just sitting down, which was the only thing,
That was different.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. How about her? You've never overheard her talking to her friends about anything like that at all?
When I send a message and talking points or whatever, she reads them. I've gotten before me on Monday evening. Wasn't home yet.
Okay.
She was like, "Hey, it's school today," so she, so she knows, she can reach out to me and it's open to do so and anything because that's, she's always involved. So
okay, so since the beginning of the school year, more so happy now that she's in your third period, able to make friends. She's pretty consistent. So nothing out of the ordinary that you can think of off the top of your head that would be alarming or
alarming. The only most alarming thing I've seen was the message that Monday when she was missing. So
okay, and what was that message?
It was, I can read it to you exactly.
Okay.
Talking points. So this was through the app Talking Points. Talking Points is what district and county uses to communicate between teachers.
Okay.
It's faster than emails, just texting. So that's loading. So on Monday, February 26th at 5:36 p.m., she said, "Hi, make it to school today. She hasn't made it home today." Then at 5:53, when I was able to reply back, I said, "Hi, Miss Soto. I don't know."
Was that 5:26? Oh my word! That's if you hear Jen going to the school at 2:30 and getting there and being in the front of the line at 4:00, she's like, Maddie didn't come out, didn't know where she was, so she drove towards her mother's business and asked her mother, did she make it there? Did she walk there? And her mother said no. And then so when she drove there, then she said she emailed two of the teachers, I think it was, and she called one of Maddie's friends. So that was quite a bit later though. If he's saying 5:26, around 5:30 p.m. on that day, right? There's like 19 minutes had passed. Oh my goodness. Okay, so see, one day I have to have a mega timeline, but it's gonna take a while to make that with all of this, putting all this together, right?
Checking Sky where she was absent for periods 1 to 5 and period 7. Period 6, I guess, hadn't marked her, but that's not really so strange because sometimes teachers just forget. Like
right.
that happens. So, but yeah, I told her, that's very alarming. Just, please keep me informed. Then I reported it to my teacher mentor. So, and then she reported it to Kelly Armstrong and everyone else in the school. And I guess and she'd been waiting for the police for a while. So I kind of talked a little bit then. I asked at 6:20 she was home yet. Hasn't made it home yet. Waiting for the police, and then so I've heard cop trying to speed things up, but that was it. So then I haven't reached out back because I'm trying to be giving her space. So
okay. Is there anything else you can think of that I haven't asked you that you can recall right now, or anything else you want to tell me?
Nothing comes to mind. I think I just her behavior is pretty consistent in class. She's. Whenever I see her out of class or whatever, I would say hi. She replies back normally. So.
And she seems like a pretty happy.
Yeah, she just seems pretty happy. It was just that's why part of it. Why it was so shocking that she'd be gone is just how close it happened. How she just whenever people started saying maybe she ran away, it just didn't seem like it to me that she could be the type to run away.
Okay.
But then of course information started coming out about what was happening. So.
Gotcha.
So he was talking about the app, which I wonder. BB Glazer, you said earlier Talking Points is an app the teachers use to contact parents. So was it that app maybe? So not an email? Trying to track their lies. Trying to track all their lies. Oh my word. But either way, that was a lot. I was looking for the time, like quite a bit later than I thought that Janet contacted the teachers, whether it was an email or through the app. Oh my goodness. The teacher was talking about an app now. So interesting. Okay. Right. Okay. Let's see. Mara says Jen was not at Maddie's funeral because journalists or haters are what I also want to know. There's so many questions, so many that we still all have. Thank you all for still being here. My word, there's so many of you still here with me as we going through all this audio. I really appreciate you being here. We're studying this case as a community, so thank you so much. We've got 10 minutes left.
Okay. Do you swear and affirm everything you told me is true to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, awesome. So the time is now 15:26 hours.
Detective Rembis with the Orange County Sheriff's Office. This is in reference to case number 24-11313. It is February 28, 2024 at 16:41 hours. And with me is your full name, please.
Gerald W. Belmore.
Thank you. Can you tell me everything that you know about the missing person?
Well, we just heard about it. We saw all the commotion overnight, but we just heard about it this morning that there was here that is missing. Mm-hmm. And we haven't seen her. We usually see her coming home with her school, and apparently takes her to school in the morning. But we haven't seen her for a few days. So she usually comes and takes the dog out for a walk to do his number. But like I say, we haven't seen her this week at all. Last time we saw her, I believe it could have been Saturday or Sunday. We saw her taking the little dog out. So.
Okay. What about the?
I hadn't seen him since last year. He wasn't here around last year, and this year we saw him about a week and a half ago. We saw him coming to the unit and leaving.
Okay. And you've been here since?
We came on December 28th. Well, we were here on the 28th. And then we left for a cruise on July the 2nd for 9 and 10 days. So we were back here on January 11th. We were back on, and we've been here since. So.
Okay. And in the past few days, have you seen any of the family members?
Yes.
Okay. When was that, more or less?
It was last week, sometimes last week. I don't know, I can't nail down the day, but it was last week. We saw him come and go.
Okay. Was he driving or walking?
No, he came out. When I saw him, I was going out to check my van to make sure the windows were all closed. Mm-hmm. And he was coming out, and he went to the white car that they own it together. Mm-hmm. But he went and sat in the white car. Okay. And then I didn't see him after that.
Was that on the weekend or earlier in the week that you remember?
I believe it was on the weekend. It was on the weekend, either Saturday or Sunday.
Okay.
That I saw him.
Was he by himself at that time?
Yep. He was by himself.
And the white car, what does it look like?
I think it's a Nissan. Was it a Nissan?
I'll just come out in my pajamas.
Of course.
We just got back from swimming. Oh.
Was it a Nissan that he's got, or the white car?
I don't know. Okay.
This couple is so cute. That he's like, we just came back from a swim. That sounds nice. So, you see, the more we hear, the more interesting it gets. Okay, these neighbors are observing what sounds like Stephan Sterns being around there. And they're like, I think we saw him on Saturday or Sunday sitting in Jen's car. I mean, what? What was he doing? You know, when? What time? What time does Stephan really get there? Because sometimes he says he got there on Saturday night. And sometimes he says Sunday night. He changes his story the whole time. Is it Saturday night, Sunday? Jen also says Saturday or Sunday. She can't quite remember all of that. Later, then she says, no, it was Sunday at like 8:30 or whatever time it was there to... You know, as soon as Maddie got home, he got there half an hour later. Oh, my word. There's like so much to follow here. But if Maddie was crying and didn't want to go home, spent the day with her grandfather on Saturday, and then was taken home, that's interesting if Stephan was already there as well. If he was. But the parents, Stephan's parents, don't seem to think he was there on Saturday night yet. They say Sunday. So it's like, oh, we have to listen to all of it. And that's why I say at the end, try to put this all together, right? Obviously, I think at the trial, well, I hope so. We've seen some trials where they don't do very good timelines and they were all disappointed. So I'm going to be doing my best to put it together, but it is confusing because of all the different things people say. And if the neighbors say they saw Maddie walking the dog on Saturday or Sunday, if she stayed at her grandmother's house on Friday night and spent the day with her grandfather on Saturday, it would plausibly be Sunday morning, before her birthday party at 3 p.m. So maybe she was at home that Sunday morning. Maybe Stephan was already there from Saturday. How do we know? So much to consider here. Oh my goodness. Okay, so let's keep going.
What kind of car?
Is it a 4-door, a 2-door, or something else?
It's always parked beside our van.
Yeah, it's always parked beside ours there in the handicap.
In the handicap spot?
Yeah, in the handicap. Sorry.
But you know this car to be,
Yes.
As far as we know.
She drives it.
Yeah.
And she's got the handicap sticker.
Right. But I saw him going to it. Now, whether or not he drives it, I don't know what he came in himself, his own car. I don't even know if he has one. I don't know. So.
What about the...
Juan?
Mm-hmm.
I saw him once this year. I didn't get to talk to him. I saw him coming into the unit, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
About 2 weeks ago.
Interesting. It's always nice hearing from all these different people, right? As I say, Madison says, yay, my first live, much love from Texas, G. Oh, thank you so much. Bex, Pondu, Nelly says, no, it was Jen. It could have been Jen walking the dog, actually. Could have been Jen. Usually Maddie would, but maybe Maddie wasn't there. Maybe she was at her grandmother's house. The way that they talked about it in the documents that we read a few months ago, they said it was Maddie. So I'm not, that's what I'm saying. It's like so much to keep track of. Oh my goodness. Okay, but we're doing it together.
2 weeks, week and a half.
Yeah. He came and went in the unit.
He's always...
I meant to say hello to him, but I couldn't catch him before he went in.
He was always living there. And then they moved in with him. And
how long ago was that? Do you remember?
I don't remember.
Like months, years?
Years ago.
Years
ago.
Right after they bought the place.
And
like him and
I know,
like two peas in a pod. He taught her how to ride her bicycle and took her. He used to take her to school.
Yeah.
And
we told him he was fixing up a van to travel around the country. And we told him, I said, boy, when you leave, I said, she's really going to miss you. And he said, yeah.
And he said, yeah, I'm going to really miss him. He had tears in his eyes. It was kind of sad. But anyways.
He was going to Brian laundry this? What? Oh, they talking about Stephan. He's going to build a van. Okay. Interesting. Very interesting hearing all of this. Oh, right. So, okay. Let's see what you guys are saying. Yeah. Krista said 2 weeks before. So you would have definitely seen the makeshift bedroom situation. That makeshift bedroom, I think, was like that for a long time. I don't know how long, but quite a while. Okay, interesting. Sunny in, I guess, Arizona, right? As I said, she could have easily had her daughter's milestone birthday party when she could attend. She didn't hold her own girl up when questioned, had nothing good to say. Only the one good thing to say, which was that she had a beautiful voice. That's it. Okay. Wow. Yeah. Okay, so let's keep going.
Does he still visit that you know?
Well, I've only seen him once. Last year we saw him quite a few times. He'd come in with the...
You see, I'm going to have to listen a few times. My brain is like, lady, there's too much in here now. Hypnotized Love says the grandfather, Juan. Okay, that makes more sense. Shame, man. Okay. Juan, the grandfather. Because I'm like, what? Who's doing what? Who's taking a van? Where now? All right. Okay, that's good to know. So Gumshoe Lolly said handicap spots are prime upfront spots, sometimes right by the front doors. Maybe Stephan Sterns utilized the close proximity to move Maddie's body. Maybe. Jen's car did have like a disability sticker. We'll look at the vehicles still. There's still so many pictures to look at. Pictures of the vehicles, both vehicles. Inside, outside, all of that. The rooms, all kinds of things. Of course, we won't look at Stephan Sterns' pictures. With clothes on, yes. Without, no, we're not going to look at that.
Van, and then he'd go in.
But we're not here all the time either. We're out and about sometimes, and so we don't. He could have been here more times. I know he comes, I think, and does his wash here.
Yeah, but this year I saw him once.
Yeah, but he could have been here more.
Oh, yeah, he could have been here more when we weren't here, but we've seen him once this year, so.
Okay, and that was about a week and a half ago?
Last week or the weekend before, yeah. Okay. I sure hope that they
I
find
sure
her.
you find her all right.
Okay. I see they're searching the woods here. I don't know. But she went missing at the park near her school? Is that what?
She was reported missing from school.
From school.
Oh, okay, because I was going to say, when they said park, I said, why would they drop her off at the park? They usually take her to the school. You know what I mean? At least that's what I'm assuming they do every morning. They take her right to the school and pick her up and bring her back.
Yeah, bring her back from school. Yeah.
And you told me earlier that was usually.
Yep, and
all the times we've seen her was.
He goes out in the morning with her, and then sometimes we're not always here. But then at 8, I don't know what time school gets out fairly early. Anyway, so she comes back with her.
4:30, run in there.
Oh no, it's earlier than that.
Earlier than that when she brings her home.
Yeah.
Okay.
When you last saw her walking the dog, was that a weeknight, a school night, or was it
I think
weekend?
It was last weekend, but I'm not sure.
Could have been on the
weekend. Which
weekend.
was unusual because usually she doesn't walk. It's usually.
It's unusual for her to walk the dog.
Yeah, it was kind of unusual. That's why when I was sitting there, I thought, oh, she's walking the dog. So, but yeah, and she came back with the dog.
Yeah.
And went back in with it. Oh.
And that was in the afternoon, you said earlier?
It was on the weekend sometime.
Yeah, but I think it was in the afternoon. Pretty sure it was in the afternoon, as far as we know.
When you remember what he was wearing that day?
He wears a cap.
Yeah,
and actually it was backwards.
Oh, was it? Oh,
yeah,
I didn't
it was
notice
backwards.
that.
So the thing was in the back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I don't know what he had on.
Couldn't tell you what he had on.
Okay. Anything else you can think of that might be important for me to know?
Well, you saw 3 people come in and they were
Yes,
greeted
but that
at
was on Monday. That was
Monday.
Monday.
Was it after she was reported missing, or?
Well, I guess so. And all I saw was somebody hug somebody.
In the doorway.
Yeah, I couldn't tell who it was they hugged or what. I just saw it because I was sitting there, and when somebody walked by, you kind of look.
Yeah.
And I kind of looked, and I think there were 3, and I know there were 2 adults. I don't know if there was a child with them or if there were 3 adults. I can't, because I didn't pay that much attention.
Could you tell if there were males, females, or
anything?
anything?
There was 1 male, and there was a female, and I don't know who the other. I can't remember.
If you had to guess, what time of day was it?
Oh, I don't know. I thought it was kind of unusual because they don't usually. The only people that go in there are the renters.
Yeah, they're the people that live upstairs.
The people that live upstairs, and one has a son.
Yeah.
And
the other lady's by herself, I think.
I think so. I've never seen her with anybody. So, no, I can't. I wasn't, you know what I mean? I wasn't paying that much attention. I just kind of caught my eye when 3 of them went. And I'm sure now that you told me that she's been missing since Monday, I'm sure it was a relative that probably came.
Yeah.
Maybe her sister, because she has a sister. So.
Because that was on Monday, wasn't it?
I think it was Monday. Yeah,
so that they probably noticed her missing, so probably told relatives.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Could you state your full name and date of birth for me?
Yes, it's Barbara Belmore. I'm born December 4th, 1946. And I'm a Canadian.
Can you raise your right hand for me?
Oh, my.
Do you swear and affirm everything you told me is true and correct?
Well, I'm not sure because
you're guessing.
But insofar as you remember.
As I remember it, but I wouldn't want to, specific times or specific dates or anything.
No, I understand that. Yeah. Sir, can you raise your right hand for me? Do you swear and affirm everything you told me is true and correct?
Yes, as far as I know, everything is true and correct what I gave you.
Thank you. I'm ending my recording at 16:51 hours.
Okay, everyone, and that's what we have for today. Wow. So much information. Oh my word. I'm gonna go. Are we gonna go replay crew now, everyone? I'll be part of the replay crew just to go and listen again, because sometimes they talk about Stephan and sometimes they talk about the grandpa Juan. Sometimes they talk about Maddie. Sometimes they talk about Jen. I want to figure out who exactly was walking the dog. Who are they saying? And okay, I'm glad they said it was grandpa Juan talking about, like making a van, converting a van and going all over the country with it. Okay. Not Stephan. Sure. That sounds scary based on other cases we've covered, right? Oh dear. So, okay, I'm going to be re-listening to that again. There's many interviews that I listened to again, and I'm sure we could listen to it 10 times and still learn new things. We still have to listen to Stephan Sterns' we've listened to one, which was 3 months ago. I've got a few more, so we're going to go over some of that in the upcoming days. Make sure you are subscribed, notifications on, so you don't miss it. And if you are on the replay crew, let me know in the comments what you pick up. Some of these questions we had throughout the stream, put in the comments what stood out to you, or, oh, okay, they clarified this, or you didn't hear that the first time, or whatever it is. If you want to email me as well, my email is grizzlytruecrime@gmail.com. So we still have interviews to go over. We've still got photos to go over and things like that. And then, of course, at some point to work on a mega timeline of like what in the hell was going on there. Just putting it all together as best we can. So you're a girl that dances. Thank you so much. Look at this little, here it is, this little, like, is it a pear? So cute. Like, how's it going? Thank you so much for your sticker. I really, really appreciate it. Yeah, Ashley's like, his interview is gonna be maddening. I've already, of course, listened to some of it. I'm like, oh my word, we're gonna snark it up. That's why we're leaving that for later. Can't handle that right now. We will. Probably tomorrow, actually. We'll start with that. Oh, man. So, thank you so much, everyone, for being here. Please like and share, and I'll see you again very soon. Right now, we focused on this case. I know there's many cases going on, but right now, I don't know. That's just how I am sometimes. Like, we hyper-focus on something. We're looking at all of this. It's pretty overwhelming, lots of information. So, don't worry. I do see the other cases going on, the other hearings, everything that's happening. I'm doing my very best to keep up with that as well. Just keep an eye out. But I'll be back tomorrow, probably with more audio files. I'll see you then, everyone. Thank you so much, and stay safe. Let me put the sign off here so it doesn't double play. Bye.